Hey, hello everyone. I'm here with Eric and Linda in Lagos. Um, Joe and I've been helping Eric and Linda for the last few months for their move into Portugal, and we thought it'd be a good idea for them to share where they're at the moment, their experience, a little bit of advice for everyone else who's looking to make the move. So I've got a few questions for them. Thank you so much for being with us today. We're in this beautiful hotel in the center of Porto de Mos in Lagos. Obviously, we're here today in Portugal. My first question is, when you started to think about moving abroad, did you have any consideration for any other country?
Not really. Lynda's a trained classical chef, and so she's pretty worldly, and we've both done a lot of traveling. And when we started looking at things like geography, access to other countries in Europe, and the location on the seaside and whatnot, it was a pretty easy decision for us.
Yeah, it ticks a lot of boxes for you. And what would you say now feels like a good time for you to move here?
We're getting ready for retirement, and we are both very adventurous people, and we've always done a lot of traveling, and we like taking on new adventures, and it just felt like a great time in our life. We don't have children, so we don't have tons of ties. We have our families, but it's just felt like a great time to close a chapter and open another chapter and just challenge ourselves to try new things, learn new languages.
Life in Europe.
Yes.
Well, Eric is already learning Portuguese and go and start talking to people on the street. So I think by the time you move here, you might actually be semi-fluent,
Well, yeah, I've been able to practice as a lot of Portuguese people are telling me I'm ahead of a lot of people. So we're going to keep on doing
I
that.
agree.
Part of it for me is learning. I love to learn, and so it's a good next chapter.
So when you embarked on your search, sitting in Arizona, what were your main concerns, your main fears about this new adventure?
I think the biggest thing that we came to understand fairly quickly through social media and discussions is that you have to have the right people. It's not efficient, and you're opening yourself up to risks if you don't have the right people on your team. And we definitely felt like we had to have a team in our plan. And probably our biggest fear was just making sure that we found the right team.
Okay. Have you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So obviously part of looking for a house abroad, relocating, is making different decisions and not always agreeing on everything. So how did you make the final decision on location, type of house, architecture? So I know we've had lots and lots of conversation, even budget. How did we assist you, and did you feel that we helped in the process to get to the right place?
I mean, very much so. Obviously, it's an important decision, and there's got to be a lot of compromise between Lynda and even us as a team. But one thing that I really liked was we began with an understanding of what our boxes were that we wanted to check. But even within that, we explored a lot of different options. Some older, some new builds. So we did enough to get a really good sense that, okay, so here's what we want, here's what we don't want. And that requires sometimes just a little extra footwork, but in the end, you feel a lot more confident about the product.
Yeah. So for us, the foundation of our business is to be independent. We're your independent representative. One of the ways is by not being mandated by sellers to sell their house. I think that's one of the big difference that you see in the Portuguese market. This approach, did you feel that it helped you get access to a wider range of properties than maybe if you would have been contacting different listing agencies?
I mean, without a doubt, I really, having gone through this process, anybody listening to this video, I would just really strongly recommend that you don't try to do it on your own. A couple of things that we learned along the way was how different real estate markets are here versus in the United States, just the way that the flow works. But also, we did a lot of looking online, mostly just for fun. But even in the process of just looking online for fun, we came to understand that there are so many little things that you don't see. Like you go online and it seems like, oh, your perfect house. But if we would spend, if you all had not done some of the legwork for us, I mean, we could have just spent so much time looking at properties that just didn't make any sense for us.
Yeah, I remember when we were opening link by link, we were telling you this one is a no, because if you zoom in and if you look at that corner, you can see this view, and they would be, and that's because we've got a trained eye. But unfortunately, it's not always the case, and you contact the agents, and then they'll just show you the house, and you have to go through the process.
And we could see when we would go visit a property that the seller for the property, whether it was a language barrier, whether it was just wanting to push to look at a particular place. I think having our own representatives there who, it was very clear that they understood the market and we were not naive. And that, I think, ultimately helped. Although obviously there's good people selling houses, but they have their agenda, and that's why I was saying, having a team around you.
What would you say surprised you the most about Joanna, the buyer's agent in Portugal?
So Lynda and I discussed that. First of all, the experience was wonderful. We started with that interview where we honed into what we wanted, but I want to focus on a couple of things. One, the time difference was such that if we felt anxious or in fact needed some information, the time difference was such that sometimes you guys were giving us a call back and what for you would have been well after business hours. And that's just the time management issue. So that was very greatly appreciated, something that at least in myself I hadn't really thought through. Number two, I think we're both actually very grateful that you didn't just take us to a house and say, here's a house. Okay, take it to the next house. Here's a house. The two of you guys have your own expertise, and although we always felt respected that it's our ultimate choice, but I really appreciated having somebody with building experience, somebody with design experience, who might say, this is understand that in the morning light, or that this might end up being a darker place. Just little things that we probably wouldn't have thought about ourselves. So that was really grateful for that.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we also took you even on a different road to make sure that that wasn't the right road. So when Lynda came back for the second time on her own, looking at apartments to see, is that a possibility? We know it wouldn't be, but we also knew that it was important for you to figure out that it wasn't, So sometimes it's just accompanying, the property that they've chosen that hasn't even hit the market yet. We knew from the get-go that I would tick a lot of the boxes, but you still have to go and go through the process and make sure and see all the Portuguese garden and this and that, and us asking the question, are you ready to have a garden? Are you ready to do? I think it's all a process to nail down exactly what your day-to-day is going to be.
And I think that's what we're most pleasantly surprised about, that it wasn't really just here's a property, go look around and see if this is the one you want, right? Through the whole process, the back and forth, the discussions we had, which I would also tell the viewer, when we would go look at a relatively small batch of houses, not so many that we were overwhelmed, then we would usually go and process that together and just bounce ideas around and before we set off for another set of houses, so that you felt that you had a good enough idea about that particular day's search. That's another thing I like, being able to take it in small batches and then having the realtors basically just bouncing ideas back and forth as if you're family. And I suspect that you guys are good at understanding your clients fairly quickly and knowing some want that input and some might not, but we wanted it and we got it, and it was a really nice surprise.
Fantastic, thank you. So, as we said, they've chosen a house, and yes, here we go. We were wondering when Lynda was going to speak. The excitement.
I know, but it is exciting.
So now that it's significantly advanced, in your search, and obviously we're there to stay because there's a lot more work now. Now we're going into contract negotiation, making sure everything is secure, and accompanying you here. But why do you think it's important for people like you to use people like us?
Yeah, so obviously everything we just talked
Yes.
about, but we still, once you find the house, that's a great adventure. Like, you still have to make sure everything goes smoothly so that you're going to get the house that you want. And we suspect we're going to be working closely together for like months now as we finalize that process. Also, of course, we're going to immigrate, which brings on a whole new challenge. We're not locals just buying a local house. So we need the team around us, including our immigration folks and you all, and we need to know that the communication, channels are going to stay open. And so that's also really important. You could, if anybody's watching, you could hire a realtor and choose a house. It's done. It's all on you now. And this way we have a full package to help us with every step of the process until we move here, get our keys, and move in. We've got a great team around us, and I would, again, strongly recommend that if anyone has the luxury of being able to do that, it's going to pay off. It's going to be a much more pleasant experience, much less frustrating experience.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We will, once they sign the contract, go onto the site and show you the beautiful house. And we continue to on that journey with you. We are also very excited. It's been really great. Thank you for all the compliments, but I can return it. It's been a real pleasure so far to work with you. And is it beer o'clock or is it a bit?
It's probably wine o'clock.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.